I've got a hypothetical for you. Let's say a wizard traps you in a dungeon and forces you to create the next big internet content farm. What'll you make? Life hacks, ridiculous moral stories like in a Dhar Mann video, maybe animated stories. You do all of them. This is a content farm. We don't discriminate. Today we're talking about Fabiosa Better World, which sounds like it was named by an artificial intelligence. In fact, the whole channel seems like what an AI would make if it was tasked with creating viral Facebook content. Dad left me in an earthquake to run off with his lover. Beauty treatments to make your skin perfect. Go have a baby. Ladies can't fix cars. Fabiosa has it all. They've got life hacks. They've got stories. That's all they've got, actually. My friends Danny and Chad recently did a video on Fabiosa's animated stories, so you should check out their video for that, because today I'm gonna focus on the real world. I do want to touch on their life hack videos, which really aren't worth spending too much time on, because they're less life hacks and more like full-scale DIY projects. Make a barbecue out of unwanted junk. I guess that could be useful. What kind of unwanted junk are we talking about here? Like a soda can? Or my ex-wife? Oh no, you need an aluminum sink. It's not just any junk. You need an extra sink lying around. We've all got an extra sink lying around. You know, one that looks completely new. Don't throw it away. I know you're about to, because you can turn that into a grill, and all it takes is a lot of work. Just take that sink and just saw it apart. Oh, you gotta add hinges. You're just building a whole fucking new thing, actually. Oh, and don't forget to weld it. Don't forget all the welding that's gonna be involved. And voila, you've got yourself a grill. Now I know what you're thinking. Jarvis, I do not have a spare sink. I have already used it for one of my other DIY projects. Well, you're in luck, because there's other ways to make a grill using something that we all have. A spare washing machine. Heck yeah. A DIT barbecue from washing machine. Easy peasy. Do it sure self. Do it thou self barbecue. I know we've all been looking for a new do it thou self project, and now's the time to dust off those power tools that have been lying around and put them to work. From what I can tell, the better world that Fabiosa is building toward is one where everything is a grill. Hey, what happened to the microwave? Oh, turned it into a grill. Now it can cook hot dogs. It could already do that. I'm just gonna go out for food. Have you seen my hat? It's a grill now. Just wait till you see what I turn the grill into. A grill. But before we get into that, here's a word from today's sponsor, SeatGeek. Are you tired of sitting alone in your house watching confusing Fabiosa videos? Then you should get out and see some live events with today's sponsor, SeatGeek. Okay. SeatGeek is a ticketing app that makes buying tickets easy. Whether you want to see music, sports, comedy, or festivals, SeatGeek puts tickets from all over the web in one convenient place. I have the app here on my phone, of course, and what's this? Shawn Mendes. Don't mind if I do. If you see a green dot on the seat, that's a good deal. If you see a red dot on the seat, that's a bad deal. Green means good, red means bad. Am I a wizard? Maybe. That's just how easy it is to find great deals on SeatGeek. Speaking of great deals, with my promo code, you can get $20 off your first purchase. Just click the link in the description and download the app. Thanks again to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. And now we have to go back. Today where I really want to focus is Fabiosa's stories, which I put in quotes because normally a story has like a narrative structure, but Fabiosa stories feel like when you're in a dream and everything moves from like weird scene to weird scene, and you don't really know how you got anywhere that you are, and you don't question it because you're asleep.
On my wedding day, my mom-in-law gave me a concrete bath.
So first off, this is an attempted murder. A concrete bath sounds like something that a mobster would threaten in like a gangster movie. So what's it gonna be? Are you in? Or do you want to end up like Muggsy in a concrete bath? So what I'm saying is this is less of a bath and more like a coffin. In-laws, am I right? Speaking of family, my mother-in-law is so crazy. She tried to trap me in stone, to encase me in rock, to seal me in concrete. She's a monkey lady. Apple pie is to die for, though. Wish she would trap me in that. Also, I feel bad making fun of the bride here, but she's already in her wedding dress. How did you get into this situation? How did it go so wrong? This sentence is so crazy. I feel like I could spend like 10 minutes talking, just trying to unpack it, but the video itself gives it 2 seconds. That's all you get for this wonder of a construction of the English language. And you'll never guess what happens next. It's time for a makeover. First things first, you gotta dunk your head into a fish tank. That's the beginning of every makeover. The fish are trained to eat your eyeballs. Just kidding, they're just doing your lashes. That's what they do. I cannot stress enough how much I have to slow this down. Everything is moving at an alarming rate. Look, I've never been married. Is this what happens? I mean, I've been to a wedding before. I don't remember the bride dunking herself into a fish tank and then rolling her hair up in watermelon rinds. Is this normal wedding behavior? I sure hope it is, because it seems awesome. It's 3 hours before the wedding. It's time to haze the bride. So in just 3 hours, this woman was nearly encased in concrete, rescued and broken out, given a makeover with watermelon rinds and various creams, suffocated, and then everything turned out great. They didn't even show us the part where the mother-in-law poured tomato juice on the dress, which for the eagle-eyed viewer is why the dress turned blue. No wonder people say weddings are stressful. I really have to think about if I'm willing to put my future wife through this. I'm really left with a lot more questions than answers with this story. Like, the mother-in-law hates the daughter, so she like terrorizes her, nearly kills her. And then is she the one who's making her up? That's kind of weird. Or is it like somebody else? And what's to stop the mother-in-law from doing this again? She clearly hasn't learned her lesson. And if it was up to me, I would put her in a little concrete block called jail. So this story is from Fabiosa's TikTok, and I'm not sure if there's like an unabridged version of the story lying around somewhere that like answers all of the questions. But I did find on their Facebook and YouTube, they do have longer stories. So let's check those out.
On my first day of work, the shop foreman planted a mouse.
This seems like it's going to be a Darman style video, but more extreme. This video is called Women Are Made for Washing Dishes. Hashtag live your best life. Hashtag life tips. So I guess this is going to be the classic tale of a woman who is underestimated in the workplace and then proves all the men wrong, which is a real thing that happens in the real world. So let's see how they mess this up. We're at some sort of mechanic shop and these men are harassing this new hire with a rat that they found or that they have as a pet. I don't know why they have a rat. A auto shop seems like a pretty dangerous place for a rat to be. This rat should be living its best life, you know, eating cheese, cooking Italian food. But no, they forced this poor guy to do misogyny. Hang on, this guy is wearing a hat. So maybe this is a Ratatouille for mechanics situation where he's just being like, hey, you're gonna need one of these to work on cars, lady. So get a rat in your hat and let's get to work. No, they wouldn't do that. It's probably just the sexism. Okay, so the mechanics get up to a bunch of other dastardly deeds like replacing tools with the stuff in her purse and taping her inside of a car. Of course, she has to put up with this because if she speaks up and loses her job, then she'll lose custody of her son. I don't know why these stories go to such extremes. It would still be horrible if she didn't have a kid. And what is she eating? What is this? What the hell is that? This fucking guy gets to eat pizza and this poor woman is eating, is this 2 rice cakes with lettuce in between? So now the boss asks this woman who is given no name to fix his car, and Ratatouille over here was like, even I couldn't do it. You've got lady brains, which it actually sounds kind of sick. Anyway, Lady Brains fixes the car, except for no, she doesn't. It starts smoking, and we all know smoking is bad for you. So they fire Lady Brains. But it makes sense because you know how fixing things goes. If it doesn't work on the first try, you're fired. So poor Lady Brains is trying to find a new job. Meanwhile, these bozos are eating pizza again. We haven't seen them work on a car a single time, and spoiler alert, we never will. These professional mechanics eat pizza twice and fix cars 0 times. But the whole time this doesn't make sense to Lady Brains, right? Because she's a car genius. She's been fixing cars since she was 10. And other than the time that she was trapped inside a car with caution tape, there's never been a car jam she couldn't get out of. But what if she was framed? What if somebody else sabotaged the boss's car and placed the blame on Lady Brains? Plausible, but who could it be? Bud, The guy who's been terrorizing her since day one? Yeah, it's him, but she can't prove it. She's got no evidence against Bud. That is until one day she eavesdrops on a conversation he's having. He reveals that he has a sick daughter in the hospital, because of course he does. Every character in these stories has a ridiculous sob story backstory, and that is not an exaggeration. Every character in a Fabiosa video is either missing a limb, dying, or was trapped in concrete by their evil mother-in-law. The only way that Fabiosa can make us feel any emotion for these paper-thin characters is by giving them the worst backstories imaginable. I even feel bad making light of it, even though I know that they've been written that way specifically to emotionally manipulate me. So anyway, Bud can't afford his sick daughter's chemotherapy. I'm sorry I laughed, you know? Lady Brains offers to help. Isn't she so nice? But oh no, Bud also has appendicitis now because he's the least fortunate man in the world. But Bud's luck is turning around because Lady Brains, putting aside her own stupid little problems like needing to keep custody of her child, fixes the cars that are broken anyway and lies to their boss and says that Bud fixed them, which gets Bud a big bonus that he can use to pay for his daughter's chemotherapy. But then when the boss goes to fire Lady Brains, Bud steps in and he, I guess, tells the truth. Then the boss gives Lady Brains the promotion and now she's the boss and Bud is the assistant, and they live happily ever after. How do you deal with those who define your abilities? I'm reading these in Darman voice now. Deal with it. How do you deal with those who define your abilities by gender? I don't know. I guess the lesson here is that you should always sacrifice yourself and your needs for the guy at work who harasses you because, hey, he might be grateful. It's also funny to me that even in the story about not underestimating women, only the man gets a name. Actually, that's not entirely true. When Lady Brains gets the promotion, the boss puts Bud's name tag on her, making her Bud now. Or I guess they're both Bud. I don't know. Oh, I found it. I found the original Concrete Bride story. Do you remember from earlier? Maybe this will answer some of my mini questions that I had after watching that TikTok. Maybe it'll answer some of your questions too. Future mom-in-law dipped me in concrete before my wedding. The logistics of this still sound so complicated, and I wish they went more into that part. Because I'm like, how did you even get to that being a thing that you could do? I never considered dipping someone in concrete as like a way to prevent them from marrying my son. The eye-eating fish are still not explained at all. Honestly, it's just like a slower version of the same story. To calm my mom-in-law down, I told her I was pregnant? Like as a lie? Wait, or is that why she changed her tune? Also, they just added random hair to this woman so that they could remove it and make it seem more interesting. There's a bunch of videos on this channel. Like one of their genres are disheveled person gets cleaned up good and now they're accepted by society. Okay, now it seems like the story isn't like synced up with the events that are happening because she's telling us about a concreting that happened in the past. My stylist Matt saved me. Matt! Shout out to Matt. Also, shout out to someone in the story getting a name. We'll probably never know what Concrete Lady is named, but I'm gonna guess Concretia. Before I fainted, I accidentally pocket dialed him. Then they show us a clip of her reaching for her phone that is clearly not in her pocket. And also, according to her, it's supposed to be dead. Like she said her phone was dead earlier. I'm not gonna lie to you, Matt has some questionable methods. It looks like he was just drinking a strawberry smoothie and then decided to pour it on her head. I mean, who am I to question the master? The Matster. Hey, do you think the loneliness will change her? Yeah, probably. She seems pretty reasonable. She'll probably be like, wow, what a wonderful opportunity to better myself and grow. And then she'll throw out the rest of her concrete. I've been using concrete to solve too many of my problems. Okay. Okay, that's the end. I don't know what else is happening in this video. Thanks to... No one has send me a message on Instagram. I stopped doing this for a while and now people aren't doing it. @Jarvis, follow me.